Hey everybody, this is Charlie, the Pennsylvania grain farmer, coming to you from what was rather sunny Pennsylvania. It's gotten a little bit overcast. We were supposed to have rain today, but we just had a little wee bit overnight, just enough to basically wet the surface, and then we didn't get any during the day. In fact, most of the day was at least somewhat sunny. But in any event, there's a couple things I wanted to do in this video. First of all was to give you a little bit of an update. This past week I've been pretty busy. I like to have my oats planted by April the 15th. That's my, end target date. If I can get it planted in March, if the weather cooperates, I'll gladly do that. But April 15th is the latest that I like to do it. But with over 8 inches of rain in April here, that didn't happen. So it ends up that this week on Tuesday, I think it was the 23rd, I was able to get my oats planted, and I was really happy about that. Yeah, it's a week late, but considering the April rains that we've had, I feel really lucky to have been able to get it in. I didn't get video of it because I was in, such a hurry to get it done. I didn't want to take the time. Since then, I've been spending time getting my corn and soybean ground disked. I actually took some video of that yesterday, and when I sat down to edit it, I found out that I had done it in several pieces, and I found out that the whole segment that contained the actual part where you see the disc in action was completely missing. I don't know what happened to it. I'm sure I did some dumbass thing. So I don't have any video of the disking, but I'll get more of the planting process. Okay, something else in terms of an update. If you look here in the red shed, you'll see the back of my backhoe. You remember I bought this in, I believe it was December, and from my buddy Dan, and it's been sitting up at his place ever since because my trailer isn't big enough or sturdy enough to haul this, because this is a backhoe's a pretty heavy piece of equipment, and my trailer is only rated, the gross vehicle weight's only like 7,000 pounds, so it's not sturdy enough to haul this. So I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday that my buddy Corey hauled it down for me. So now it's parked here in the red shed in its spot in its forever home, and I'm glad to have it here, and I'm excited about taking some time to mess with it and to learn how it works, because I never operated a backhoe before. Dan came down and just showed me some very basic things just to get started, and it had sat outside here for a couple of days because it was supposed to be nice, and but now that he's shown me those things, we got it pulled here in the shed, and this is where it's going to live. So I'll do more video on that coming up. But probably the main thing I wanted to do was to give you an update on my my white planter with the 5-row splitter that I just bought and brought home from Ohio, in which I'm going to be using to plant soybeans. Yesterday I finished up disking, and we did have some rain overnight, so for me this morning was as the old timers used to say, it was going to town day, because I had a number of errands that I had to run, and when I came back, I've been working on getting this thing ready. Okay, so now I finally have it all hooked up. As you can see, I'm going to be using my Oliver 1650. I use my 1550 on my other white 5100 planter for planting corn, but that's because that planter is lighter. This one is significantly heavier because you got that whole back half that I don't have on the other one. So I figured using the 1650 was a good idea. One of the things that I had to do was to attach the pump. The whites are forced air planters, as opposed to John Deere's, which as I understand they draw a vacuum. Well, the white planters blow air through, and that's what makes the planter work. So to operate that fan, these white planters generally have a pump. As you can see here, that silver thing behind the PTO shield, and that's hooked to the PTO, and you can see it has two hydraulic hoses attached to it, and when you turn the tractor on to run the PTO, that hydraulic oil is what runs the fan. Now typically the way they came from the factory, obviously they were set up for probably for white tractors or Oliver tractors, these 5100 planters, and they usually had some kind of a bracket. I think this is the one the previous owner used, that actually bolted to the drawbar and then somehow hooked here to the back of the pump. And I had seen that in the my manual for my original 5100, but I didn't like that setup. It didn't seem sturdy enough for me, so I engineered this brown thing that you see here, which is just kind of a framework that you know, we cut out and welded together, but this bolts to the 4 bolt holes where the top link for the 3-point hitch attaches. So I just took that top link off. It just comes out with 2 pins, because I won't need that whenever I plant. And I made it so there's 2 bolts on each side, because there are 2 bolt holes in that framework there on the tractor. So that bolts there, and then the pump bolts by 2 bolts onto the back of the framework here, and that holds the pump in place so that it doesn't turn whenever the PTO turns, and it supports it. So the pump is all hooked up and ready to go. These are the hydraulics for lifting the planter. These are the hydraulics for the marker arms, and of course you have the 2 plugs. Now I don't have these. This isn't where these plugs are going to be, this wiring, whenever I'm ready to plant, because you know, I want to secure them so that they don't catch on anything or come unplugged. But that's just where I have them for right now on this initial. This is the first hookup, and what I'm ready to do now is test everything. I want to test the fan and this pump. I want to test the marker arms, and I want to test the you know, the overall hydraulics as far as lifting the pump up and down. So I'm going to do that right now. I have not tried any of those things, so you know, what you're going to see now, I'm seeing for the first time right along with you. So if you hear a bunch of swearing, you'll know that something went wrong. And oh, I'm also going to be checking the monitors. You notice there are 2 monitors here on stacked up. The top one is for the front 4 row units, and the bottom one is for the back 5. So I'll be seeing what happens whenever I turn them on. So I'm going to probably put you on the 770 hood there, and let the camera run as I try this out. So Okay, well, that seems to be a pretty successful test. As you saw, the planter did go up and down. The markers worked the way they're supposed to. I turned on the PTO, which operated the hydraulic pump in the front, which runs the fan, and I had no trouble getting up to like 2.5 well, I guess it's inches of water pressure is the way this AGCO gauge works. And by the way, these things aren't cheap. This is just like the new one that I put on my other white a couple years ago, because you can't just use any old pressure gauge on these. And this one from AGCO, and this was probably 8-9 years ago, was $176. So I'd hate to see what this costs today. But in any event, as far as I can tell, everything's working, and that's a good thing. So what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do this on camera, I need to grease it. There aren't that awful many grease fittings. I need to oil the chains. I don't think the previous owner put a lot of oil on them, and there are different schools of thought on that. I'm with the school of thought that it's probably better to put some oil on so there's some lubrication, and then clean it off real good and oil it at the end of the year before you store it. Some people, look at it that it's worse to have oil on it and get dirt stuck to it, but I'd rather see some lubrication than none. So I'm going to do that, oil the chains. I have one down pressure spring that I got to put on down here, which I just got in from Shoop, and I think it'll pretty much be ready to go. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I hope you'll hit the like button and consider subscribing if you already haven't. And if you have subscribed, I appreciate that very much. Don't forget to leave me a comment or ask a question. I always do my best to get to every question or comment, and I do enjoy reading them and interacting with you. So for now, this is Charlie, the Pennsylvania grain farmer, saying see you next time.